Hello, I am Rin. I will present a tutorial from the Everyday Input series. Straight to the point, our main goal with this series is to train the brain to naturally decode spoken Japanese through long-term exposure, transforming unfamiliar streams of sound into recognizable and intuitive language patterns. With exposure to the language, some desirable side effects are: expand passive and active vocabulary naturally through repeated contextual exposure. Improve listening comprehension by increasing familiarity with spoken Japanese patterns and speech flow. Reduce the mental effort required to process Japanese as the language becomes more familiar and predictable. Increase exposure to common real-world language patterns used in everyday Japanese. Develop faster recognition of recurring grammar structures, particles, and sentence formations. Improve the brain's ability to segment spoken Japanese into recognizable words and phrases. Strengthen intuitive understanding of natural Japanese rhythm, pronunciation, and speech patterns. Make future grammar study, reading practice, and active immersion significantly easier. Build comfort and confidence when listening to native Japanese audio, and help transform Japanese from an unfamiliar stream of sound into an intuitive and recognizable language. That's a lot. But don't worry, all of this will simply happen without you having to put in any effort. But what kind of wizardry is this? How could all of this possibly be achieved? Is that what you're asking yourself? Relax. What you will find in this series. Basically, it's a playlist with dozens of videos, so the videos are made up of multiple, hold on. Click here, and click here. Subscribe. Where was I? Alright, moving on. The videos are made up of multiple cycles, and each one contains a word, along with its corresponding translation, accompanied by the reading in hiragana, and 3 sentences to provide context for the use of that term. These sentences are meant to make the vocabulary you're being exposed to useful. They are perhaps the most important part. Each video contains 100 cycles. That means there are 100 words and 300 sentences. We also classify the difficulty level of each word according to the JLPT levels. This orange, or is it brown? Anyway, represents words from the essential deck, which combines the N5 and N4 levels. With this set of words, it is theoretically already possible to hold a basic conversation on virtually any topic. Purple represents N3 level words. Yellow represents N2 on. And finally, red represents none-level terms. All videos in this series include multiple audio tracks with dubbing in different languages. In addition, all of them include subtitles in even more languages. This makes it possible to create various combinations to make your learning experience more comfortable. Next section. How to use this material. Well, we don't really know either. Our content was designed to be as versatile as possible, so there are many different ways to use it. Some people use it as a replacement for Anki, but I think that program has other important advantages. Other people prefer to use it simply as background audio to increase their exposure time through light and passive study. But we can talk about how we use it. By the way, if you use it differently, share it in the comments to help the community. Our approach is simple and effective. We use 6 steps. The first is to use a weekly cycle. For example, on Monday, we choose a video for the week. Let's use video number 1. Every time we start our passive audio, we start the playlist from that video. We always use the playlist, so it automatically moves on to the next video when it ends. And then, most of us don't even notice when it changes. We use it in the background throughout our daily routine. The channel owner spends practically the entire day wearing headphones. He pauses it briefly when someone talks to him and continues when they leave. Sometimes we have to stop the audio, for meetings, or to take a shower. Well, some people keep listening even in the shower. The goal is not memorization, it's repetition. As much as possible, hearing the words being spoken and mixed into different contexts. In different structures, that's what matters. We do this every week. When Sunday arrives, we listen only to the YattaChallenge corresponding to video number 1. It's the benchmark for the process. We say we've mastered the list when we can understand about 70% of it. And then, on Monday, we start the playlist from video number 2. It is important to understand that the amount of exposure time to a video simply varies from person to person. Almost all of us started with 1-week cycles, but after a few weeks, our comprehension improved so much that we gradually started shortening the cycle. Nowadays, Some of us switch videos every 3 days. This depends entirely on how much exposure time we are giving our brains. That's it. We've covered the basic method of using it. Now it's your turn. Bye-bye.